Hi, welcome to the hands-on activity for Lesson 1, Wireless Networks and Protocols. So, today we're going to be covering the hands-on activity 1, Analyze and Address the Wireless Needs of an Organization. This is under Module 10, Wireless Networks and Mobile Computing. You can see in the introduction that there are 3 total hands-on activities, but today we're just going to be covering the first one. So, if you scroll down the document, it gives you the title, Analyze and Address the Wireless Needs of an Organization. Under that, it talks about how long it's going to take to complete this. This whole activity, together with the questions at the end, should take about 10 minutes to complete. I would suggest when doing this that you make sure you only spend so much amount of time at one case, and then the next one so much amount of time on that case, so that you have enough time to complete all this activity as well as the questions at the bottom. So, to start out, I'm going to go a little bit over the background that is provided. I won't read you the whole thing just because you can read it yourself, but starting down at the bottom of the background, after it talks about how different companies have different needs based on their size, activities, growth, and available resources. This is gone over in the slides as different companies are not always going to need the same thing. While that would be easier, that is not how the world works. So unfortunately, you're going to need to research a little bit into each company to make sure that it has the specific needs and it's met for that company. So in this lab, you will be presented with several cases. These cases are going to be 3 cases which identify a company's network needs, and based on these listed needs, you will use the knowledge gathered from the lesson to identify wireless networks. So again, make sure that you have read the lesson 1 just so you know what is going on in this activity. So alternatively, some of these case detail issues with the company's existing network infrastructure, and instead you should identify what should be changed to address the issues detailed. So not all the case studies are going to be the same kind of problem. They're going to be 3 different problems, so you should consider all your options. This is all covered in the slides, but just make sure you're looking into different solutions for each problem. So we're going to move on to the setup instructions. This activity requires no specific software or setup. However, a preface to this activity, such as the one above that illustrates the purpose of the activity, would likely be beneficial. So like I said many times before, make sure you have completed lesson 1 in the Wireless Networks and Protocols module. The cases can be found in the case discussion document. Moving down to the instructions, it says download the hands-on activity 1 case document from Canvas, open the document, read through the cases, and answer the questions that follow. But just for the sake of time, he has already copied and pasted the cases into this document so you can read them. But when you are doing this activity, make sure to download it so you have room to write your answers. So moving down to case 1, I'll just go over a few of the ideas that you could come up with, as well as the link that you need to write. So let's just start with case 1. Jan runs a small business out of her home where she had handmade bowls that she then sells online. She has approached her company because her current network is not suiting her needs. Connectivity works fine inside the home, but diminishes significantly in her workshop. She also needs to remain mobile, so she has access as she moves to different areas of her shop. So this is covered in the slides a little bit, but you should make sure that you consider all different possibilities. This could be a wireless problem where her connectivity is not reaching her because it doesn't extend enough. So for different kinds of areas, the extension of wireless could be different. We're going to move down to case 2, and that was just one example of what the solution could be, but as well as in the slides, it'll give you more information as well as more of what you could have put down. But moving on to case 2, we see this deals more with a bigger company instead of a smaller, just one-person shop. So you can see that this office reaches across the globe. Recently, they have been experiencing issues such as information silos, where one office has information that the others don't have access to, and other miscommunication problems. So since you're dealing with a big organization, you're going to need to look at connectivity, you're going to need to look at ranges. Moving down to case 3, you can see that this is a different organization that helps to secure business and government networks. So this deals more on the securing part, is not as much so on the connectivity side of things. So this is just it doesn't say if it's a small or a big organization. You're just going to assume that it's a medium-sized organization and that they are trying to protect sensitive data. And you can see that at the bottom of this case, it tells you that they are opted for a wireless WLAN network due to its affordability and the fact that its sensitive data and high-profile clients were limited. However, they have been recently started noticing a decrease in reaction time as well as more security events. So this is also covered in the slides. There's a couple of different reasons this can be said, but you don't have to list every reason. One is fine. So when you're doing this, make sure that you are doing complete sentences as well as giving a detailed answer. You don't need a paragraph, but you do need to describe and cover the whole question that is asked. So each of these cases I would spend no more than 3 to 4 minutes on, and that's tops. Because down below you're going to see that you have review questions and you don't want to spend your whole time doing the case study. So when you move down to the hands-on activity review questions, you can see that each one is marked with the correct answer. This gives you time to do your own answer, come up with your own solution for the ones that don't have a straightforward answer but have a variety of answers. So, for example, number 1, what type of wireless network would best suit Jan's need in case 1? And it tells you B, a wireless LAN. So, you can see that question in general wouldn't take you that long to answer since you are given options. But if you move down to number 2, you can see for the answer it says answers will vary. However, in this case, a wireless extension is likely preferred. So you can have a couple different answers here, but in general you should say a wireless extension. You should have wired network in her home as well as benefits of a wireless network where she needs them. You can suggest a wireless router as well as access points. As long as you have any of these, you should be good to go. Moving down 3 and 4, you can see these shouldn't take that long. And when you move down to 5 and 6, you can see that these answers will vary as well. And it's really interesting to see what different people in the class come up with in this situation. So you can see, one person might have put this and one person might have put this. It's interesting to ask them why they put this, and it helps with your learning experience in the end because you've seen different points of view. So this wraps up the lesson 1 for wireless networks and protocols. This is the hands-on activity 1, and I hope that everybody learned something today, and I will see you next time. Thank you.
This is lesson 1, hands-on activity 2. Set up a SOHO wireless network using Packet Tracer. It should take about 20 minutes to complete this assignment. After selecting the best alternatives to fit an organization's needs, an IT employee or consultant must then set up a network according to the requirements outlined by the company and its IT employees. It is important to understand what standard configurations wireless devices need and how devices can connect to the wireless network. In this lab, you will utilize Cisco Packet Tracer to build and configure a basic SOHO wireless network. Packet Tracer is a visual network simulation tool made by Cisco that enables users to design, build, and configure network topologies in a mock-up network that imitates real-world networks. This activity utilizes Packet Tracer because of its simple design, user-friendly UI, and free availability to all students, regardless of device. Packet Tracer also has a number of features, including those listed below. The setup instructions for this assignment. Prior to starting this lab, a few setup steps are required. This lab assumes that students do not have prior access to Packet Tracer or Netacad. It also assumes that basic networking setup was addressed in an earlier lab and does not review how to set up the basic non-wireless parts of the network. First, to access the Packet Tracer download, students must create a Networking Academy Netacad account and enroll into the free Introduction to Packet Tracer course following the below steps. First, you want to navigate to the link that is provided. Hover over to the yellow Sign Up Today button and select English to begin. Enter your name, email address, check the age verification box, and answer the CAPTCHA before pressing Submit. On the next page, verify your email address and name are correct, then select your country or region and select Self for the company. Then choose an appropriate password and complete the CAPTCHA. The page will redirect you to the Cisco Netacad login page. Enter your email password to log in. Cisco Netacad will then send a verification code to your email. Enter this verification code on the new page where it requests. It may be in your spam folder if it's not in your inbox. The next page will ask you to input more information and verify your previously entered information. Please confirm the previously entered information, then complete the rest of the form with gender, state, IT experience, disability, birth date, race or ethnicity, and military service information. Then select Create Account. Once your account has been created, the Netacad page is launched. A banner on the top appears. Click Launch Course on the banner. Click through the tour or click End Tour to skip it. The tour can also be reviewed using the Reset User Tour on this page link at the bottom of the page. Once the tour has been completed, feel free to look through the Packet Tracer Introduction course. Once finished, click I'm Learning at the top of the page. On the I'm Learning page, scroll to the bottom. Underneath Resources, you will find Packet Tracer. Click on its box. On this page, scroll down to the Download section. Select and download the most recent Packet Tracer version that is appropriate for your system. Once the download is complete, select the downloaded .exe file to begin the installation process. If a pop-up appears asking for the Packet Tracer installer to make changes, accept it. Accept the agreements and complete the installation wizard. Note, accepting defaults should be fine for these activities. However, if students want to make changes, they can. A pop-up appears asking if the user wants to enable multi-user at startup. Select No. If a Windows Defender pop-up appears, allow Packet Tracer on private networks. Once Packet Tracer is launched, log into your Netacad account. Note, Packet Tracer can be used as a guest, but they can only save a particular file up to 3 times. And that's it. Packet Tracer has been installed and is ready for use. Additional setup may be needed. Have users download the Packet Tracer activity file posted in Canvas, which will offer instructions and checks to ensure students are completing the lab as planned. A video will be available to help students along the way should they get stuck. Alright, so these are the instructions for hands-on activity 2. Open Packet Tracer if needed and log in. Open the downloaded Packet Tracer activity, Soho Wireless Setup.pka, by selecting File, Open, and locating the file. Alternatively, double-clicking the .pka file directly will open it in Packet Tracer, and then log in if needed. Once the file is open, click Options, User Profile. Enter your name and email now. Okay, so open Packet Tracer, and if needed, log in. And then open the downloaded Packet Tracer activity, Soho Wireless Setup.pka, by selecting File, Open, and locating the file likely in your Downloads folder. Once the file is open, click Options, User Profile, and enter your name and email address. Once you've done that, proceed to complete the activity according to its instructions listed below. Connect the Internet interface of wireless router to switch Gigabit 02 interface. Okay, so to connect the interface, you want to go to this lightning bolt at the bottom here and select the auto select option. Click on the wireless router into the switch and then select Gigabit Ethernet 2. Configure the internet connection type. Click the wireless router go to the GUI tab, and set the internet connection type to static IP. Configure the IP addressing according to the addressing table and the packet tracer assignment. Here we have our IP addressing table, and we want to configure the settings here. The IP address is 172.17.88.25. The subnet mask of 24, which is 255.255.255.0. Then the default gateway is 172.17.88.1. Scroll down to the bottom, hit Save Settings. Configure the network setup. Scroll down to Network Setup. For the router IP option, set the IP address to 172.17.40.1 and the subnet mask to 255.255.255.0. Enable the DHCP server. Scroll to the bottom of the page and click Save Settings. Now you want to configure wireless access. At the top of the window, click Wireless. Set the network mode to In Only. And change the SSID to WRLS_LAN. Disable SSID broadcast and click Save Settings. Part 2. Configure wireless clients. Configure Workspace PC for wireless connectivity. First, you want to power off Workspace PC by clicking this button here under the Physical tab. Remove the current NIC card and replace it with WMP300N, the wireless NIC module. Power Workspace PC back on. Because SSID broadcast is disabled, you must manually configure Workspace PC with the correct SSID to establish a connection with the router. So click Workspace PC, Desktop, PC Wireless, click the Profiles tab, click New. Name the new profile Wireless Access. Click OK. On the next screen, Advanced Setup. Then manually enter the SSID of WRLS_LAN. WRLS_LAN. Next. Choose Obtain Network Settings Automatically, DHCP. As the network settings, then click Next. Click Save and connect to network. So we're going to go to Workspace Laptop to configure for wireless connectivity. First, we want to power off Workspace Laptop. Remove the current NIC card and replace it with WPC300N, the wireless NIC module. Then we want to power it back on. Repeat steps D1 through D7 for Workspace Laptop. Verify Workspace PC and Workspace Laptop wireless connectivity and IP addressing configuration. The signal strength and link quality indicator should show you have a strong signal. Click More Information to see details of the connection, including IP addressing information, and close the PC Wireless configuration window. Part 3. Configure a wireless access point. Connect port 0 on access point to gigabit 01 on wireless router. The device should configure itself. Part 4. Configure wireless client connected to the access point. Power off mobile laptop. Remove the current NIC card and replace it with WPC300N. Power back on. Click Mobile Laptop, Desktop, PC Wireless. Click the Profiles tab. Click New. Name the new profile Access Point. On the next screen, click Advanced Setup. Then manually enter the SSID of Access Point on a wireless network name. Click Next. Choose Obtain Network Settings automatically through DHCP as the network settings. Then click Next. Save settings, and then click Connect to Network. Verify connectivity. All the clients should have connectivity with one another, and you can test this with pings. Review questions for hands-on activity 2. Number 1. What type of wireless network does this packet tracer represent? Number 2. Based on what can be seen on mobile laptop when configuring wireless, what is the benefit of adding wireless access points to your network? Note, pay attention to signal strength percentage. Number 3. What is the main benefit in this scenario for having a wireless network attached to the wired network rather than just expanding the wired network? Number 4. What major consideration in networking, including wireless networking, was skipped over, and why is it so important?
This is Lesson 1, Hands-on Activity 3. Troubleshoot along the path of a wireless packet. The estimated time to complete this is 20 minutes. No matter how diligent an IT team is in configuring a network and its devices to work as smoothly as possible, it is inevitable that something along the way will break and create a network issue. This creates jobs for IT professionals, but it also means that at least a basic understanding of the path of a packet through both wired and wireless networks is required to determine where an issue is occurring and to effectively troubleshoot it. The path of a packet refers to the path and steps a data packet, the unit for network communication, takes to either leave its source, arrive at its destination, and/or deliver a reply to the source. Understanding the path of a packet is a vital component to troubleshooting because it allows IT professionals to determine on what link or device an error is occurring if the packet does not proceed past a specific point. Of course, troubleshooting is an integral part of network administration to ensure the network continues to run at its maximum capabilities and ensure data flows as it's supposed to. In this activity, you will use the completed packet tracer from the previous activity to observe the path of a packet in a wireless network. Then, you will download a packet tracer activity to verify the path of the packet, and if there are any errors, troubleshoot to find and correct the issue, ensuring that packet flow is correct. This lab assumes that the students have completed the prior activity completely and correctly. If not, a corrected version of the activity will be available to download should some students be unable to access a complete correct one. This lab also requires the students download and open another packet tracer activity file to simulate an error in the network. The first thing that you need to do is you need to open packet tracer and, if needed, log in. You can open the downloaded completed packet tracer activity from Hands-on Activity 2 by either selecting File, Open, and locating the file. Alternatively, you can double-click the packet tracer file directly and it will open in this window. And then again, you will need to log in as needed. And the method for logging in is, once you've logged in, you need to go to Options, User Profile, and set your name and your email address and hit OK. At this point, you've finished setup and you're ready to proceed with the lab. The first step once you've finished the setup instructions will be to switch from real-time to simulation. and to send a ping from mobile laptop to home office PC 1. As you can see from here, from hovering over home office PC 1, the IP address for this device is 172.17.10.21. If we double click mobile laptop, we'll get this interface where we can open command prompt. We can type ping 172.17.10.21. From here, we can click top. That way this window will stay on top. And we can click the play button and watch our packet flow through the network. I'm going to go ahead and skip through, as you can see here. And we'll start to see what happens to our packet. Initially, we can see that our request times out. So, why does it time out and why do we have a problem? Well, that's what we're here to figure out. Now that we can see that we can't ping from here, the next best place to check would be to go to Home Office PC 2, open a command prompt here, and ping the same address. I'm going to click this fast forward button a few times. And as you can see here, even Home Office PC 2 is unable to ping Home Office PC 1. So, based upon this information and where the packet has traveled, we can see that the packets have made their way either from the mobile laptop to the access point to the router to the switch to the router, where it ends up dying and returning, or in the case of Home Office PC 2, going to the switch, the router, and then dying. So based on this information, you should be able to determine where your point of failure is, which should guide you on how you can fix it. Now I'm going to show you how you can fix this issue. If you open router 1, we'll keep this one on top. You see here, first thing you need to type is en, comp t. We need to go into interface G00, subinterface 10, no shut or no shutdown, and end. Once you've done that, you've basically re-enabled the subinterface 10, which is the interface that this device uses to communicate. Now we can close that window and go back to our main devices. At this point, you can switch to real time if you feel like it to speed this up. And if you'd like to cancel out the current request, if there still is one, you hit Control-C. Now that we've done this, let's skip the network forward. That way everything's fully converged. And let's retry those commands. As you can see here, they were both able to successfully ping Home Office PC 1, and we have resolved the issue. Now, if you end up in a situation where Home Office PC 2 successfully pings, but your mobile laptop is still unable to ping, the solution to that would be to open your home wireless router right here. I'm going to close these. Go to the GUI tab, if it's not on it already. Scroll to the bottom, click Save Settings. You'll see that these devices disconnected and that you've received orange dots because the network needs to be reconverged. And you can fast forward through that if you would like. Once you see the green triangles, your links are up and you are ready to finish the activity. You should be able to go back to mobile laptop and ping again, and you should be able to successfully ping the device at this point if you could not before. And as you can see here, we were able to successfully fix that problem, and we were able to now ping Home Office PC 1. So, hands-on activity 3 review questions. Number 1, What is the first missing step from the path of the packet described below? Home Office PC1 to switch to where? Your options are router, wireless router, Home Office PC2, or none. If you chose wireless router, you'd be correct. As the data flows, it will flow from Home Office PC1 to switch to wireless router. Question number 2. What is the second missing step from the path of the packet described below? Home Office PC1, switch to where? Well, we know from the previous question that the traffic goes from Home Office PC1 to switch to wireless router. Your options are router, wireless router, access point, or none. We can tell from where we're going that the next top is going to be this access point. And so if you chose C, access point, you'd be correct. All right, what is the third missing step from the path of the packet described below? We go from Home Office PC1 to switch to wireless router to access point. Your answers are mobile laptop, access point, wireless router, or none. If you chose A, mobile laptop, you would be correct. That will be the final point at which that packet will go. So, in doing this packet tracer activity, question number 4 asks, where are the errors and what are the errors? What caused mobile laptop and Home Office PC2 to not originally be able to ping Home Office PC1? Your answer may have varied, but you should have been able to identify that there are errors on the router and that these errors are caused because interface G00 subinterface 10 is disabled. Question 5. What steps did you take to identify and resolve the issue? Your answer may also vary to this question as well, but your steps should have been, you should have followed the steps that you were previously taught and informed on in Activity 2 in order to troubleshoot this and determine how to fix it. Question 6. Why is having a troubleshooting process important? Your answer may also vary to this question, but in general, your statement should touch on the fact of being able to be easy to follow, to directly solve the problem, and to only change a single variable at a time, and to be very concise with how you're doing it, because you want to make sure that you're not also creating other issues in the process of troubleshooting this one. This has been Hands-On Activity 3, and I'm going to hand you off, and I hope that you have learned something from this activity.